the series of database videos. Last time we have seen how to create table, simple create statement with examples. Okay, so today I am going to explain you constraints. Constraints are nothing but the rules, or you can say that the restrictions given to the table, or we can say that the conditions applied on the table. Okay, so to control the information which can be added to the table, we require constraints. Okay, constraints are basically applied on the columns, or you can say that the attributes of the table. Okay, and we can apply these constraints while creating at the time of table creation or at the time of modifying the attributes. Modifying attributes of the table. Okay, so there are different constraints, and I am going to explain you not null, unique, check, and primary key. Okay, now starting with not null constraint. As a name indicates, it should always have some value. Okay, the value of the column or the field should not be null. Okay, for example, when we fill any form, it has some fields which are marked with asterisk notation or a star notation, correct? So this star notation indicates that this field is compulsory. That means we cannot skip this information, correct? So we should always have to write something in this field, and unless and until we write the information, your page will not move. Okay, and you cannot move to the next page. That means this is what the not null constraint is. You should always have some value. Now next is unique constraint. Unique means there should not be any duplication, or you can say that the repetition. Okay, so for example, when we create Gmail account, it always accept only the unique IDs. Okay, so if your ID is already exist, it will not create account with that ID. You have to change your ID, correct? So this is what the unique constraint. You should always have some unique values in your columns or in your fields. Okay, now next is check constraint. Check is used to check different conditions or to limit the value range. Okay, for example, when we create Facebook account, so to create Facebook account there are certain age limits. Okay, so if your age is less than 13, you are not allowed to create Facebook account, correct? So it will check, you have to check whether your age is greater than 30. Okay, so in this way you can use the check constraint to check different conditions. Okay, now next is primary key. Primary key is very important. Okay, primary key is nothing but the unique identifier of a table. A unique identifier means what? That primary key, with the help of primary key you can find all other attributes of your table. This is called as primary key, and the primary key should not be null. Okay, so for example, I am having student information like roll number, name, class, address. Okay, so from this information, roll number is unique, as no two students can have same roll number, right? And with the help of roll number, I can get all other information of student. So I can say that roll number is my primary key, correct? Okay, so if I want to search for a particular student, I will not search him by name, but rather I will search him by roll number, as roll number is my primary key and I can get all other information with the help of roll number. Understood? So this is what the primary key is. So your table should always have some primary key. Understood? Primary key should not be null. Okay, so these are different constraints. Now I am going to show you how to create table with the help of these constraints. Okay, employee table having attributes employee ID, employee name, salary, designation and contact number. And constraints are primary key, salary should be greater than 0, name should not be null, and contact number should always be unique. Okay, so now I will show you how to use this constraints in create table statement. Okay, and if you don't know how to create table, you can check my previous video. A link for that is provided in the description section. Okay, now create table employee. My first attribute is employee ID int. Now employee ID is primary key, so I will write here primary key. Next is employee name. Now, employee name should not be null, so I will mention here not null. Okay, the next is salary. For salary we have to take check constraint to check whether the salary is greater than 0 or not. Okay, so we'll take check salary greater than 0. Okay, next is designation. For designation there is no constraint asked, so I will just write varchar. Next is contact number, and for contact number we have asked that contact number should always be unique, so I am taking here unique constraint. Okay, so in this way you can create a table with the help of different constraints. Okay, you just have to specify your column name, data type, and in front of that you just mention the constraint like this. Okay, now I will execute this statement. See, our table is created successfully. Okay, we will insert some record in this table with the help of insert command. Insert into table name is employee values. Values is a keyword. Okay, now while inserting values in the table, just remember one thing, that for inserting value for text or varchar you just have to enclose it in the single quote. Okay, like for employee ID it is integer, so I am taking 1. Now employee name is varchar, so I have to take this value in single quote. Okay, then next is salary. Suppose I am taking here 30,000. Then again designation is varchar, so I will write it in the single quote. Okay, then next is contact number, again varchar, I will write it in the single quote, bracket close and semicolon. Now we will execute this insert statement and we will check. See, one row affected. Now we can view the records of the table with the help of select command. Select star. Okay, select star from table name is employee semicolon. Now I will execute this. See, we have one record in our table. Okay, so in this way you can insert different records in the table and you can view the records of the table. Okay, now we will check whether our constraints are working properly or not. Okay, so we will take null value in ename and we will have the salary as less than 0 or 0, or we can take the duplicate contact number and we will cross check. Okay, so starting with the employee name, see here I am taking employee ID as 2. Now instead of name I am writing here null. Okay, and we will change this number for this time. Okay, now we will execute this. See, there is an error for you cannot insert null value into column ename. Okay, as we have taken not null constraint. So the ename should not be null. Understood? Now I will take some name here, like Bob. Then we will take salary as 0. Okay, and we will execute this. Again it is giving me error for check constraint. Okay, because we need to check salary greater than 0. We have to take the salary greater than 0. Okay, now I will check for unique constraint. Okay, we will take same mobile number. Okay, now I will execute this. See, there is an error for unique key constraint. Understood? In this way our constraints work. Okay, now I will insert one record according to the constraints. Okay, and suppose I'm changing the designation as doctor. Now we will execute this. See, one record affected means a record is inserted in the table. Now we can view this record with the help of select command. Select star from table name is employee. Okay, execute this and we have two records in this employee table. Understood? In this way you can insert different records in the table. You can view the records and we can mention and we can use different constraints in create table statement. Okay, so till now we have just worked on the single table. Now in my next lecture or next video I'm going to explain you how to create multiple tables with the help of relations. Okay,